It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you in studio today. Marilyn Huffman is back with us. It's been about a year, I think, almost, since you've been here.
Yes.
She's with the Better Business Bureau. She's the regional director of the Northern Arizona Better Business Bureau based out of Prescott.
That's correct.
But you travel all over the Northland.
I do. I cover Apache, Coconino, Navajo, and Yavapai counties.
You got just this little tiny territory you have to take care of.
Just
I
a
know.
little.
For the BBB, phone number 772-3410. I'm going to repeat all this stuff like we always do throughout the show. BBB.org is the website. And there'll be another website we'll talk about today too that was really interesting that Marilyn sent me. It's bbb.org/scam tracker/Phoenix. And I'll mention that a few more times as well. Today we're going to talk about scams. And Marilyn's actually going to stick around. We're going to be doing two shows with Marilyn, and the second one will air in September. But I wanted to bring you back for the scam issue because we just had a couple pop up recently. Last week or earlier this week, no, it was last week, we had a gentleman that the IRS called him on the phone and said, you have criminal taxes due, $9,000 worth. This person that called this man knew his address, knew a lot of personal information about him. And I thought this scam, it seems really brave of the person doing the scam too, where it's like, you have to stay on the phone with me. If you hang this phone up, the police will be there shortly to arrest you. That's what he was told. And now I want you with your phone, on the phone with me to take me to your bank. You're going to take a $9,000 out. You're going to put it on a check, a cashier's check. And then you're going to go to the post office and you're going to mail it. And what he said, told the guy was that it's going to have a tracking number once you mail that. And once you mail it, you can hang up the phone and then we'll know that it's coming to us and you've made that payment. And after he did this, he did all of that, he got suspicious, which was great. You got suspicious.
Absolutely.
Went down, talked to Prescott Valley Police. They talked to the U.S. Postal Inspector. They stopped that check and got that check back for him.
Which is good news.
Really good news.
They don't always end up that way.
They don't.
No.
We hear a lot of the cases where they don't end up that way. And then the other one was a week prior to that, Chino Valley PD had the scam where, hey, Grandma, Grandpa, I was arrested. I'm down in Mexico. I just got arrested. I need bail money. And then somebody else comes on and says, I'm with the local police department. Your child has been arrested. You need to send $3,500 to get them out of jail. And then it's with prepaid cards or gift cards, which I think is an odd
That's
number.
correct.
Yeah.
And that's why we encourage people and have been encouraging businesses that sell those prepaid cards to have some type of policy in place. If someone walks in and is asking to purchase a large amount of money on that or put a large amount of money on that card, that there should be some type of policy in place that you're checking why. You know, most people don't go in and purchase one of the green dot cards and put $2,000 on it.
That's unusual
That's
then.
unusual.
Okay.
Absolutely. It is called the grandparent scam, that scam, but we have discovered that it's not just grandparents that they target. They'll target aunts, uncles, any relative.
Anybody who doesn't live in that immediate household.
Correct.
Okay.
And so that's why if you aren't sure where that child is, it's always best for you to tell the person that you are going to hang up with them and verify where that child is. You can ask for a return phone number. They're probably not going to give it to you. They're probably going to hang up at that point in time. But that is something that we've discovered doesn't just happen where they make that claim that they're in Mexico. We've also had reports of places here in the United States where it's like a big spring break type area.
Okay.
So if you have beach areas, Lake Havasu in Arizona has been a target of that also.
Oh, wow.
So we've seen it happen even locally as far as something like that is concerned. And then as far as the previous scam, the IRS scam, that's something that unfortunately we see annually. It doesn't ever stop. It's not like all of a sudden it's tax season, so you get the IRS scam.
Right, I was kind of thinking
coming
that's when it
in.
would be, but I've noticed it's all year long now.
No, it is. It is all year long. We receive calls. People come into our office and will ask us, hey, I got this phone call. What is going on? If someone makes threats to you like that on the phone, first of all, as far as like someone's going to be there to arrest you immediately, You can't get off the phone with me. You don't have any rights at this point in time. That is illegal. It's against the Federal Trade Commission rules that are out there to protect us, the consumers. I would also tell you that the IRS never makes phone calls, ever.
We always say this. We always say it.
Yes,
It's always in the stories.
I try to remind people all the time, they do not call you. They just don't. They will send you certified mail with information. You have to sign for it. I mean, it's very official, the steps that you have to take. And they're never going to make those types of threats to you. There's going to be a process that you would go through if for some reason something is wrong with your taxes.
I would think the threat is a scare tactic.
It's very much
It's
a scare
just all it's
tactic.
supposed to do is throw me off my train of thought.
Correct.
And now I'm just a zombie and I'm going to do whatever it is you tell me to do.
Just like the grandparent scam, they'll contact the relative, and we have had reports, consumers have told us that majority of the time it's very early in the morning or very late at night. So majority of the time those people have already been sleeping. You know, they've gone to sleep for the night and then they're woken up around
clever.
midnight.
Okay.
Or they get woken up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and you hear a child crying. You know, it can really jar you. And that's exactly what they want to do.
It also eliminates or actually reduces your ability to do voice recognition, where you're going to know this is your grandchild talking to you.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that is
They're
so
very
clever.
Intelligent people that unfortunately are utilizing that intelligence in not a very positive way.
Well, apparently it works.
It does work, and that is why they keep happening. That is why we continue to see the IRS scam, and I believe why we will continue to see it happening. Unfortunately, because people do fall for it. And I'm so thankful that this gentleman who had this occur in Prescott Valley was brave enough to actually, you have to be willing to say, I made a mistake, or I think I got taken advantage of. And to say that can be, it's embarrassing for some people. It can seem scary, but he would never have received his money back if he hadn't stepped up and said, this is what occurred. And I think it's interesting too that it's never with a credit card, because if it was with a credit card, as we talked the last time I was here, then you have some protection, you have some recourse to be able to fight that charge. But it's a cashier's check, it's a personal check. You know, I mean, it's just, you're out of luck.
I would think one of the things that would just really would get me is that if somebody on the phone said I owed money and then told me to go buy a bunch of gift cards or prepaid cards. I've never used those myself. Well, I've used gift cards and stuff for the holidays and everything.
But not in this manner.
But yeah, but not in terms of payment to somebody, any business. I mean, I can't imagine going in and paying my phone bill or my electric bill with, here you go, here's $150 in gift cards.
There was a story of an older gentleman who was taken advantage of. I believe it was Tucson. And the local news station down in Tucson ran a story on it. And the BBB in Tucson also helped this gentleman out with the situation. I don't believe his money was able to be returned to him, but it was the grandparent scam where he had received a phone call that his grandchild was in danger, and he purchased gift cards, and I believe at the end of the day it was around $10,000.
Oh boy.
And that's what I mean by it's important for the local stores, you know, for those stores that we go to where you purchase these types of things, to have some type of protocol or policy in place. Just like when you go to a bank, there's certain policies that they're required to follow before they give you large amounts of money. And that's what needs to happen with something like this also. It will just make it that much harder for someone to be taken advantage of.
Okay, all right, let's take our first break. Better Business Bureau Regional Director for Northern Arizona, Marilyn Huffman, in studio today. Her number is 772-3410. Website is bbb.org. This is Countywide. Back in just a couple minutes.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Countywide. Great to have you along. Marilyn Huffman from the Better Business Bureau in studio today. Again, their phone number 772-3410. Website is bbb.org. And then I'll give you this website again. It's bbb.org/scam tracker/Phoenix. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. The other scam I've heard that has been going around right now, and I'm not sure if I've received this phone call, but I've gotten a couple of phone calls from somebody saying, hey, we need some donations, because high school sports are getting off again. It's school's back in session, and they're wanting money to promote our business, the radio station, onto jerseys and T-shirts and things of that nature. And I don't handle that situation, so I always give them a different phone number to talk to someone else about that. But Prescott Police sent this release out last week where there's somebody called HS Backers, a group called HS Backers that have been calling local businesses and doing that same exact thing where they're looking for money to donate for the kids, and it's going to help with the teams, and we know it's garbage, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately, and it's hit close to home.
Right.
I know that they have reported on it in the news and the local papers in the Lake Havasu area. There was a high school there that was affected in Mojave County, where they did actually donate money to what they thought was T-shirts for a cheerleading team, jerseys for a football team, equipment, that type of thing. And then, of course, their name would be utilized is what the business tells this company. Unfortunately, that does not occur. And, of course, it's taking advantage of the high school because they're losing money that could potentially be coming to them and being used for those types of projects or extra activities for the students. As far as we know with HS Backers, the company is located out of San Diego is where we've been able to locate that. The BBB in San Diego has been investigating, has been looking into it, trying to find out what's going on, obviously working with local authorities, working with our local authorities to find out what's going on. And I believe there was also a connection to Texas. So it's, when you have red flag companies like that, that are taking advantage of people, they tend to move around a lot. They tend to change their names. So right now they're HS Backers, and in the next day it's going to be some kind of, help the high schools, and it'll be HTH at that point in time. So
how do we avoid that then? I mean, if I owned a business in town, and I've done this in years past, I would think that the same process would take place where I would think a student or somebody would come to the business with the form. I've seen that before, and they've got a form, and you fill it out, and you've got to have your logo. They get your logo from you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's definitely protocols that each school would follow, and they may be different for each school. It's possible that they could have someone from a school reaching out to you, asking for some type of sponsorship. But the best thing that you can do, obviously, with anything is before you write that check, verify who you're giving that money to.
How do we do that?
You can actually go to searchbbb.org to find out about the business. You can go to our regular website, bbb.org, to get consumer tips, business tips on this type of giving. We have a website called give.org, which literally lists charities that have been verified or vetted by the BBB. You can go to your local governments, the city government, county, and you can verify that these people are registered as a 501c3 nonprofit. There are several different ways that you can verify that this is a true, legitimate business.
If I ask for a return phone number, somebody calls me, and I've done this in the past with people that call me, they want to sell me something or whatever. I say, give me your phone number and I'll call you back. I got to talk to my wife or something about it, or I'm not sure. They will most of the time they will say, we don't have return phone numbers. We'll just call you back. What's a good time to call you back? If they're not willing to give me their callback number and their name, that should pretty much tell me that this is a gimmick.
Correct.
Okay.
There should be sirens going off in your head and lights and whistles, and you should just write it off at that point in time, honestly.
All right, so be careful about HS backers.
Correct.
And that's the name they were going by now.
Yep.
Okay.
As far as we know, that is the name that they are utilizing at this point in time.
You sent me, we're going to kind of, well, we're still on the scam topic, but it's interesting because in the years I've been doing the news now, it seems like the stories about scams have always been put out to our older residents, letting them know that this is the world we live in today and this is what's going on today. But you sent out something yesterday that was kind of interesting. The invulnerability illusion is what it was called. Difficult to say.
I know. I'm not sure why they chose that wording, but...
It's because it's a challenge, that's why. Millennials are more likely, it says, to be scammed than the baby boomers now.
We're discovering that is the case. Our Council of Better Business Bureaus in Virginia put out a study, or did a study, on the difference and who is more vulnerable to scams. You're correct. In the past, it has been demographically older people. Majority of the time, that's because they actually have steady income, steady money coming in. So it's more likely that they're going to have or take advantage of an offer and have the money to be able to do it. But we're discovering in today's day and age that millennials are actually more vulnerable because they're more likely to quickly believe what they read online, what they see on TV, what they're hearing about from their friends. There's so many different things out there that they're being bombarded with. And they, of course, when we're young, we all believe that we're invincible, which is why I believe that they chose that invulnerability illusion, which is difficult to say, but I guess difficult to forget once you get it in your head.
Right, makes sense.
But they do. They are vulnerable and they believe that they are not. I think as humans, we just naturally believe that we are invulnerable until something happens that makes you go, wow, I do have weaknesses. And so that's where they prey on people, and that's where they target people. As a millennial, you have grown up in a society where you're so used to just giving your information. I mean, when I was younger, I went to CVS or Walgreens, stores like that, Fry's, Safeway, you name it. They all have little cards, discount cards where you can get great savings on this and great savings on that.
Right.
And you fill out a form right there and give them all your information. I didn't think anything of it. To me, that was just, this is what you do.
Right.
You just give away information. It's not a big deal. Why should I worry about it? But it's more likely that the baby boomer generation and older are a little bit more skeptical about that. Like, well, no, I'm not going to give you my phone number. It's still unlisted. Most people in today's world have no idea what an unlisted phone number is, as far as the younger generation.
Right.
Most of the younger generation doesn't even know what the yellow pages are.
God, that's true too.
Yeah, what's a
Right.
phone book? That's not something that they're used to using. Information is just at their fingertips. So because it's at their fingertips for everything else, they feel very secure in putting their information out there. And honestly, that's how scammers are able to achieve what they're able to achieve, because people willingly hand over their information. And that's what they call, we talked about it earlier, phishing.
Phishing.
That's exactly how they go about getting your information. They'll call we have had reports for older generations where they tend to call and say, we have coupon books with coupons up to, savings up to $100, savings up to $500, but only if you're willing to answer a few questions.
Oh boy.
And that's how that process gets started. For the younger generation, it's more just Facebook, Twitter, all of those social media, Instagram, Pinterest, and all of a sudden your information is just out there and available for people.
Wow, okay. Taking another break. Better Business Bureau Regional Director for Northern Arizona, Marilyn Huffman, in studio today. Her phone number is 772-3410. Website again is bbb.org. This is Countywide. Back in just a couple minutes.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? You know you do. That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. Go to GetSchooled.com.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left in the program. We want to make sure we hit one more thing for you here. I've mentioned it a couple of times so far this morning. It's bbb.org/scam-tracker/Phoenix. If I go bbb.org, it's probably going to be right there.
That's correct.
As one of the choices.
Absolutely.
Now, you sent this to me, and I clicked on it, and it was really interesting because it shows the country, as well as Mexico and Canada.
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
And it's got all these colors on it. And as you scroll in and look at it, it actually tells me what types of scams are going on where around the country.
Correct.
Yeah, and so I clicked on Arizona, and it's been busy.
Yes, we would be. Demographically, we are a retirement state, so kind of like Florida, where you're going to see a lot of that also in that area.
Okay.
The problem is, or I shouldn't say problem, but with the scam tracker, what's great about it is that you can see that even though these two states may house a lot of scam businesses, they're affecting the entire country, Canada and Mexico. And that's why we started this scam tracker. We beta tested it. Our Council of Better Business Bureaus released it a few months ago, and it has been very successful. And we're hoping it's going to be successful for people to feel like they can have a place to go to report a weird phone call that they get and put that number in and, tell of their experience, that they were threatened, that this occurred. They asked for money, they wanted my personal information. And that's all the information you have. You don't know the name of the company, you don't know the name of the person, you have no idea who you were talking to, but you still want to report, hey, this is going on. And it's a good way for us to warn people, be careful of this, because this IRS calls that are going around, or the government grants, the government wants to give you money. No, they don't. That's just not how it works.
Right, right.
So those are important things that we are hoping to track and that we're hoping people will go to and pay attention to what's going on, not just in Arizona, but in northern Arizona. I mean, it targets, you really can,
It shows the city and how much
Exactly.
it shows the city that the scam was reported in.
Correct.
And then it shows, whether it was successful or not. It shows the dollar amount that was received based off that scam. So I thought that was pretty interesting too.
We're hoping to see all zeros in the future.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of zeros, but every now and again you get that $1,000. You get 500 and some, and then you get some big numbers in there as well.
I know.
There's some big numbers. So check out that website. It's just go to bbb.org and take a look at it. It's very interesting, and we can report our things there too when we get
You
scammed.
certainly can.
Okay, and then that's just going to be tracked, and that gives everybody a heads up. So that's
Exactly.
good. All right, Marilyn, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having
You're going to stick
me.
around. We're going to do another show.
Okay.
Yep,
Sounds
we're going to talk about
wonderful.
what the Better Business Bureau can do for your business, and we'll air that show sometime in September. This is Countywide. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.